Hello Rob, this will probably come as a bit of a surprise to you, but you finally caught me up and reaching your 80th. I wish I could be with you, but unfortunately Rob, as I've said before, I just couldn't face the trip at my age. It's far too much with the hassle of the airport and customs. But before we go any further, I'd just like to thank Joy for sending me an invitation, which was very kind of her. But to repeat myself, I just couldn't face the journey. It took a long time for me to get in touch with you again, Robbie. I tried several addresses in New Zealand, but never could make contact, and I never had a reply at all from any letters I sent to addresses out there. And it came to me that I should write to the local newspaper in Hastings, which was the St Leonard's Gazette or some such name, and I knew you worked in a TV shop and erecting aerials or something like that, and I put all this information into the local newspaper down there, and after about 3 weeks Alf phoned me up to say that he was Joan's husband, and he'd been away for 3 weeks. And it was amazing that he hadn't thrown this newspaper away. And that's when he told me that you left New Zealand and were in Australia. And from that and the phone number given to me by Alf, we became buddies again. So it's all really thanks down to Alf for picking up the newspaper. But anyway, as you notice, I've got the hat that you bought the day I arrived. And I wear it continually, and it's worn very well. Plus, if you can read that from there, I've still got the old memory of the club stuck on top of my head. But anyway, I'm sure you're having a nice time with your friends, Robbie, and please remember me to Stuart and Judy, Trevor and Sharon, and Tony and Warren, who all made me so welcome on my trip to Rathmines. It must have been very tiring for you to wander about the countryside with me as passenger, but you were a good chauffeur, and you were very patient taking me all to the place that you did take me to. One that sticks in my mind quite vividly, even today, is the trip to Nelson Bay, when we went on the ferry, watched the seals, and the skipper of the boat was good enough to stick it in reverse, and we backed off to see the seals playing. It was interesting to the kids, but the funny thing was, it was interesting to me as well. We eventually jumped off the boat at Nelson Bay, had a wander around, looked at the property, very, very expensive, and finished off with a nice plate of fish and chips, wandered back to the boat and took our trip. Then we dropped off, I think it was a place called Tea Garden, which was also a very nice area. We stopped for coffee there. Talking about food, Rob, do you remember we went to Manly and we stopped at the Sub and we asked for a baguette each, and it took us almost an hour to eat it, and we were both silly because it was over and above what we could really eat. Well, here I am at the moment, Rob, sitting in my living room with June, as I'm sure you remember.
Of course he does.
We've been together now for 60 years, and that's when we first met in the early days at Henlow. And talking about Henlow, and poor old Smithy that passed away some years ago, he was quite a character, as you well remember. And I remember on one occasion we had a billet inspection, and the officer looked at me and said, "What's that, Airman?" And I said, "What's that?" He said, "That," and he pointed, and I looked back at my kit layout, and all the bristles had been cut off my shaving brush, and there was only a wooden stump left there. And I knew exactly at that moment who did that, and I looked across the room, and there was Smithy, who gave a wink and a chuckle. And he was always up to something strange, that man, but always evaded getting into trouble himself. He was always on the fringe and on the outlying area of trouble and nonsense. But what a great guy Lem was. Fantastic fella. Never will forget him. June and I used to come to Hastings. We came to Hastings a couple of times, Rob. Excuse me. And stayed with your aunt and Joan. They made us awfully welcome. And If you went to Hastings now, you wouldn't know it. The area where your auntie lived has disappeared, and there's blocks of flats. The cricket field has gone. Silver Hill isn't as it used to be. But one thing that does remain is the ice cream parlour. And I can't remember the name of that, but you and I went in there several times and had ice cream. After that, you became my best man at the wedding, and I hope you recognise yourself in the photo that is what's shown on the. Hope you recognise yourself, and how we've aged, and but we both had a good life, and in spite of how old we are. But all I can think of is keep going back to Henlow. The airfield has gone, and the big hangars where we used to take flights in the old Lancaster and the Halifax and the Dakota, they've gone. The aircraft have gone. The pub on the crossroads is still there, but the Bird in Hand where we used to play darts with Corporal Paddy Barrett, who was our instructor at the time of the rigging course. Then, of course, there was the time at Jock Mustard's wedding, Jock Mustard's birthday, and the lady at the Crown Pub made him a birthday cake, if you can remember that. Good old days, mate, good old days. But anyway, back to your party. I hope Keith and your other son, I can't think of his name for the moment, is with you, and all your friends, as I said before, and I'm sure the day is going well. And it's nice to know that eventually you've got a bit of company, Robert, with Joy. Sorry, I said Robert, I meant Robert. Rob. And it's nice to have company, and I'm glad that you've got a friend in Joy. And you must be looking forward to your trip in March to China, which isn't too far away at the present time. Anyway, I'll take a short break now, Rob, and come back to you in a moment, because I've got to pour myself a glass of rough red. Bye for now. Well, Rob, I hope you enjoy the few shots that I'm sending to you. I've enjoyed my day. I've really enjoyed speaking to you and taking a little quick walk down memory lane. There's one last thing I would like to do, and that is to raise my glass to you and all happiness with your family on your 80th birthday, and a little slurp of a rough red, as I know you enjoy yourself every evening, and God bless you, mate.